Well, the same question come in multiple times, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to just give a short video explaining how I personally organize classes. There are a lot of groomers that are kind of breaking into independently educating, utilizing online profiles and social media in order to do so, whether it's live streaming, webinars, live classes, things like that. So I just wanted to answer the question that had came into my inbox today and maybe give some people some insight as to how to get started with hosting their own classes. I have a friend, Mary Aquendo, that I've known for a long time, who hosts an amazing Blueprint for Success class. It's actually a program that helps you work from start to finish on creating an online presence and doing online educational experiences. Everything from branding and marketing, creating your website, what platforms work with each other, everything. It's a wonderful class. I've taken it. I recommend it to anyone who's looking at becoming serious about being an educator or sharing regular sessions of online learning and utilizing the internet to teach. I also have a Girl and Her Dog Productions, which I started a few years ago as an effort to help other groomers who wanted to teach, just in sharing my experiences, helping to organize, answering questions. We do formal organization of classes as well. I've hosted quite a few people through the years, well-known speakers. I handle all of the organizational tasks. The event, I'm there present for the event itself and make sure that our speaker is taken care of, all the attendees are taken care of. So it's a service, if you will, for our industry, specifically for people who want to teach but don't want to handle the marketing aspect or just organizing everything and overseeing everything. They just want to keep things simple and come and teach, talk to people, and keep it at that. So I do have those two things that I want to recommend. If you have questions about how to get started online, certainly text me or message me. Let Mary Aquendo know also, and that class is available through Positive Education. So positiveeducation.com, I believe it is. All right, so what I do, I may do things a little differently than other people who organize classes, but this is what I've done since 2011, 2012. And just kind of developed a system that I do each time I want to host a class, and it has worked really well. The classes pre-fill well in advance. I don't have a hard time filling seats, and it's just really worked out for me. So what I'll do first is I decide on a topic. You want it to be relevant to the time, you want it to be something that you're knowledgeable about, something that you're curious about and passionate about, because that will come through in whatever you are talking about or teaching. You want to define your budget. That's very, very important. That's one of the things I think that I hear other groomers that come to me with questions, they struggle the most with, is like, what should I charge for this? I don't even know what it's worth, or what would you pay for this? That kind of thing. But you're looking at not just your time that you're going to be up there teaching that class, you also have to have all your expenses covered. If you do have to travel somewhere to do an on-site class, you're looking at travel expenses, gas and tolls and parking and upkeep on your car if you're driving a lot and something happens. You're going to have to look at meals, hotel, airfare, if you have kids, if you have a sitter or a home sitter, if you have dogs that you have to board like I do. I've got kids and dogs, so I have a lot of expenses, and that does affect your price point for your seats. I mean, honestly, that's just part of the gig. So if you're traveling to on-site classes and hosting classes in person, that's part of what drives your per seat charge up. And some people don't realize that. They're just thinking, well, why do I have to pay $100 to come and spend 4 hours or 8 hours with a groomer? And for the record, that's very, very reasonable. But it does. It drives the cost up if you have to travel. And on top of it, you should be paid and reimbursed for your time and your effort and your knowledge, right? After I decide on a topic, I will put out a call of interest online. So I'll put up a call. I like to go to the state-by-state grooming association groups and the locales and just say, who would be interested here in a class on canine certified esthetician, teaching on canine skin and coat care, or whatever, anything else. and see how many responses you get back. If you get a handful, you can pretty much guess that you're going to be able to travel to teach a class in that area and be well reimbursed. I usually, if I put out a call to interest and I get anything less than 10 or 12 replies back, I don't follow up. But if it's something, usually if it's an area where there's not a lot of educational opportunity or groomers have to travel a lot, you'll get a lot of hits online because these people are kind of thirsty for knowledge and excited to get somebody to come out to see them instead of having to always travel. So I'll put out the call of interest, and then right after that, if I seem like I'm going to get enough of a reaction out of groomers in that area, then I ask who would be interested in hosting a class at their salon or helping to organize a venue. And you can have a class at a salon or a venue. I prefer salons for a few different reasons. People like having people visit their salons and take a look around and kind of showing off what they've got and how they work. It breeds a lot of goodwill among groomers. It's nice to get groomers together in groups in a salon atmosphere. One of the things I love the most about traveling to teach classes is seeing how everyone else runs their business and how they've gotten things set up. I definitely get ideas from other groomers and how they run their salons, and I always find it really interesting to see all the different ways that we do our work. So I stick with the salon venue as much as possible. It keeps my overhead low because I'm not paying a huge exorbitant venue fee. I'm not having to have the salon or the conference center only allow me water and food from their in-store or in-house restaurant or catering services. So you're really limited if you go to a conference center or a trade hall of some type or a hotel. It certainly is classy, it's a nice environment, it's a professional environment, but you need to choose very carefully if that's the route you're going to go. So that's one of the other reasons that I go with a salon. And so you're going to try and secure your venue. You're going to want to list your needs immediately with the person that steps up and says, hey, I think I've got space for 25 people or 20 people or 15 people. And let them know what you need. For me, like my certified esthetician class, I need tables and chairs, and if I'm traveling and I can take my AV equipment with me, not a big deal, but if it's a very extensive trip where I'm going to be flying, then I need to have a screen projector on hand or a TV large enough to be viewed comfortably by the room that I'm teaching in. And I do have, I pack my own small AV portable equipment. Sometimes I will pack it and box it up and send it out a few weeks in advance and confirm that it's there. I will tell you, you want to have a plan A, B, C, D, E when it comes to getting your AV equipment and your presentation on site ahead of yourself if you're flying. It's just good business. I have been left stranded one time, and I will never let it happen again. I have my presentation put on multiple flash drives, different formats. I have it on a CD, I've got it in my phone, I've got it in iCloud, all over the place, so that if something doesn't work, I have a backup, and I'm not left hanging and having to stand there and teach an 8-hour, 10-hour class from my brain. I have done it a lot, but I'm not that good. I do need something to go with. So anyway, you're going to want to secure those details. You're going to want to let them know if you need tables and chairs. They have to have a local rental agency nearby that can get those there for you. I usually cater in a lunch to my classes. It's a long day, groomers get hungry, you feed your brain, it helps to keep you awake and keep you focused. And it's nice to sit down and have a class and eat some decent food and just enjoy each other's company while you're learning, right? So those are the details that I worry about the most. You also want to make sure that they're okay with getting there, either staying late the night before so that you can set up, or getting there early in the morning a little bit so that you can set up and do a dry run of your presentation to make sure everything's flowing smoothly. I like, again, to do it the night before. I will give myself an extra day to travel in and an extra day to travel out just to make sure that I'm there and things are set up and running smoothly, and that I have time to get home and get rested before I head back to my work week. So here in my salon, I'm by myself. If I'm closed and not here working, then that's another thing that you have to remember if you're going to travel to teach a class, how much you're going to lose in wages for the day that you would normally be working in the salon, because you want to wrap that up in your price. Another thing is you want to set an entry deadline in your head. Go through your appointment book, look at when you can feasibly take some time off. Set that as your, look a few weeks in advance and set that as your deadline. I usually will do my deadline a full month before the class, just because people will dawdle and wait till the last second or want special commissions made for them. And it's your choice, but I have learned and I have been burned through the years, so I do not personally hold seats for anybody without payment up front. I do not agree on a class without having something in writing, and I do not issue refunds. And I know some people might think that sounds really hardcore, but the least thing you need, the worst thing that could happen, is for you to plan on someone being there, order materials for that person, pay for your class, and then have them back out and want their money back. For my CCE class, I'm paying for a formally printed certificate, a personalized frame, the book, the samples to go into the gift bags to get into each attendee's hands. I'm paying for the venue, the lunch, all of my travel expenses, so why would I issue someone a refund in the event of them changing their mind? And I have learned that by not issuing refunds, it gets people to really care about showing up and taking seriously their education opportunity. You can handle it however you like, but I don't do refunds. What I do is I allow them to choose a seat at an alternate event or an alternate venue. So they can pay in for their seat at the CCE class, say in Naperville in October, and if they can't make it, then they can pick an extra CCE class somewhere in the next year and attend that one instead. One of the things I also do with all of my classes is anyone that pays to attend, that automatically allows them a free audit seat at that same class within the calendar year. So if they want to come back and re-attend, they can do that for free as an auditor and give me their feedback on the class and pick up any new information that may have kind of been lost to the learning process of the initial experience. So that's something that really kind of gets people excited about coming in and paying for a certification class or paying for a lengthy educational opportunity. So set your entry deadline, let your venue know when that is, and don't stray from that as much as you possibly can. People are good people, okay? I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that if you bend over backwards, then you have to do that for everyone. So if you allow special treatment for one groomer, you have to remember that they may tell someone else, and then someone else is gonna say, well, you did it for them, why didn't you do it for me? So you need to set your rules and your boundaries, set your course outlines, set your class specifics, and just handle it as business. So after you set your class specifics, you want to write out what you want your class to consist of, what you're going to teach each person while they're there, and you want to stick to that as an outline for that class through the duration of the class itself. And from there, I will usually put an attention post up on social media. I have a class that's forming in early November in this area. Just a heads up, keep an eye out for details. And that gets people, oh yeah, that's right, she said she was gonna have a class out here, I gotta remember to keep an eye out. You can ask them to like your page or follow you for updates, blah, 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 that kind of thing online. After that, you'll want to create a storefront or a ticket portal hub. You can do it however you want. If you want to take checks, you want to do credit cards when they call, you can do however you want. But I have learned to streamline everything and keep the workload simple because I work full-time by myself in a salon, and all of these details that I'm sharing with you tonight, I do pretty much at my grooming table between dogs. I really value my days off, so I try not to dip into those for business as much as possible. So it's really important for me to be able to get everyone registered and paid for and a roster created and just get it done and not have people kind of all over the place scattered trying to send me checks or call me on the phone to pay with a credit card, blah, blah, blah. I like Square Storefront because it is a hub that works within my salon, it works towards my blog, it works on the website. It's a super easy link, so I'll go into my Square Storefront and I'll create a product, which is my class. I'll have in there the date, the details, the venue, the cost, and then they can order their ticket and pay for it. And I do have a stipulation in there, they're in caps, there is no refunds. If you pay for a ticket, it will ensure that you secured a seat at either this venue or an alternate one should you need to move dates. And I list that in there just as a fail-safe, because some people say, well, you didn't tell me that, and if you get it out there, it's just kind of simplifies everything. So you'll create your item on your storefront, and then you use that link, and you can plug that in anywhere. You can put it into a Facebook event page, you can put it on your website, you can blog about it, you can use other social media platforms and put a post up with that link in there and get them to visit it, see what the class is all about, see where it's at, the time, the date, that kind of pertinent information. I would recommend, if you do a Facebook event page, which I do for every class, in fact, that's how I take pretty much all of my payments in for all of my classes, is through a Facebook event page and a ticket URL or a ticket portal. You want to be sure that, what was I going to say? If you create your Facebook event page, that you list your venue person or your host as a co-host, because if you're not familiar with an area, you're going to get people who call or message you, where do I stay in this area? Where's a pet-friendly hotel? What do you recommend for lodging? Blah, blah, blah. And if you're not in an area, you won't have any answers to any of those questions. So you list your venue as a co-host, and then they can tag those people, or they can see them as a co-host and just message them directly and iron that out. Facebook sets it up really nice. You can click the venue and it gives you a map. Super, super streamlined and super easy. That's why I always go with a Facebook event. Try not to, down through the years, I have talked to so many other groomers and I've laughed about it and been frustrated about it myself. You are going to get people who, you list the price right there, you list the details right there. You're gonna have people who say, what's this class about? How much does this class cost? So, shrug it off, roll your eyes, oh, it's right there, read it, that kind of thing. But sometimes people just overlook it, right? I certainly overlook it. I'm not immune to doing, goofy stuff like that. I'm also not immune to waiting until the last couple of hours before the deadline and then signing up last minute. We all do it. Life happens. People are busy. But that's another reason why a deadline is so important, because then you've got your class, you've got your people signed up, you've got your wiggle room so that you're sure you have everything covered and that the classes go well in advance in case you have to issue refunds or in case you have to cancel class because there's not enough attendees. So that's important, right? You want to take in your payments and you hold on to those payments until you hit your class minimum. For me, I know what my class minimum is based on my budget for my class. So I say I've got to have at least 20 people signed up at X amount of money per seat in order to fly. I need X amount of people signed up at X amount of dollars per seat in order to drive. Because I know I have two separate budgets. If you're driving, it's a different budget than if you're flying. Your lodging can stay about the same, but there's a vast difference between flying and driving, okay? So, from there, once the sales begin, you're gonna wanna create your class roster. Again, through Square, you can go very easily and copy and paste everyone's phone number, email, contact information, and just generate a class roster, and you hold on to that. On the date of the class, you're gonna wanna have that on a clipboard and check off each person's name. Through the years, I have a couple of times had people swear that they have paid me for class and that they should be there, and they are not paid and they did not pre-register. It's unfortunate, it's awkward, but those people can either pay with a credit card on site if you have enough class materials to account for an extra person, or they simply can't attend. We have to trust our books, we have to trust our records, and it's very important to keep detailed records when it comes to people's money and them signing up for a class. So generate that roster, update it, make sure you have enough materials. When you do order materials, that would be the next thing that I do. Once the roster's done, then you're going to start ordering your class supplies. Like I said, for me, it's certificates, frames, samples that I have to pay for from different companies to go into gift bags for product recommendations, candy for the tables, the catered lunch, beverages, coffee and drinks in the morning, and breakfast items. When I host a class, I go all out. I want it to be a nice, relaxing event for groomers at the same time that they're really working their brains and learning. It needs to be an experience, right? Let's see. I think that's almost it. Oh, and then after you get your ticket portal and you've ordered your class, you're getting close to your class minimum and you began ordering supplies, you can also add it then to your website, to your blog. Like I said, Square has the hyperlink that's super easy for a ticket URL, and they can just go in there and purchase it. You can set your minimum or your maximum, I should say, so you know when your class is full, you'll get a notification. I think that's about it. If anybody needs anything else, any questions that I can help with, certainly message me and pick my brain, and if I don't know the answer, I'll ask someone who does and we'll figure it out together. I am having a class in Naperville in mid-October on the CCE Certified Canine Esthetician class, and there is one seat left for that. All of my auditing seats are already full, unfortunately. And then I have another class in early, November 10th and 11th, or 11th and 12th at the Academy of Pet Careers outside St. Louis, Missouri. So I'll be there and details will follow. If you're going to All-American Show this weekend, keep an eye out for my Caring for the Canine Coat book, my Scissors Down, the competition grooming guidebook that includes a full packing list, borrowing and lending, contract templates for borrowing and lending dogs, a plethora of information about competing and how to get there and how to stay there. And then also my Canine Spot Therapies products. Keep an eye out for those at the show as well. All right. Happy teaching, everybody.